it, act naturally. Well, I'll bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movie's gonna make me a big star.
Hello and welcome to Meet Me at the Movies, the reel-to-reel edition of Meet Me at the Movies. I am Noel T. Manning II, along with Thomas Manning and Violet Arth Dukes. Violet Arth Dukes is the festival director for the 21st annual Reel-to-Reel Film Fest. And if you've been watching Meet Me at the Movies over the past month, you've seen that Thomas has been doing quite a few movie reviews for some of these films. And also recently we spotlighted a couple of the filmmakers through a Q&A. And so welcome. We're glad you're here, however you decided to spend time with us. And we will be spending a lot of time today talking about the Reel-to-Reel Film Fest. Hello, Violet. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Always good to see you. I always look forward to, I was going to say I look forward to this time of year, but normally when it's this time of year, we do it in July.
It's over. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But things are a little different. So talk a little bit about what's different this year, and then we'll back up and talk a little bit about the history. But it is the 21st annual, but it's the first time we've done it quite this way.
That's right. So for obvious reasons, we couldn't, hold a festival with hundreds of people in our cute little restored theater in Kings Mountain this year, which is really sad. But we didn't want to not have a festival. And the filmmakers had already all submitted their films, and the committee had been watching them for months. So we postponed it a little bit to give ourselves time and researched all the virtual platforms, picked one, and now our festival is all virtual.
And I think the great thing about being able to do it virtually is we also are allowed to expand. Typically it's over the course of 4-ish days. Is that right?
4 days. Yeah.
4 days. And so here we are now. There's an entire month, and it launched September 9th. It goes through October 9th, and people can find it a few ways. There is the virtual platform, but there's also the website, the standard website. Talk a little bit about that and how they can find it.
Well, I tried to make it as easy as possible. So I made a big button that says tickets. It looks like tickets, and put it on the homepage of the website. It's also on the ticket page, but if you click that, it goes directly to the virtual Seed and Spark hosted virtual festival. We went with Seed and Spark, and I'm really glad we did. It's been an excellent decision. I hope that our patrons think so too. But it goes directly to the Seed and Spark website from our Facebook page link, the website, and everywhere else directs you right there.
And the main website is reeltoreelfest.com,
That's right.
REALTOREEL fest.com.
Exactly.
You'll see that at the bottom of your screen somewhere, and we'll also give you some shots of that.
We tried to make that as difficult as possible. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I got to say, what were the people thinking who started this thing 21 years ago?
I don't know. If only we had them here and we could ask them.
Well, it is amazing when you think about it from the context of time that 21 years, this thing has not missed a beat. It has continued. Even during a pandemic, we found a way to continue doing it. And if you want to dive into the history, the full-blown history of it, Thomas did an interview with Will Eskridge and myself. We were the co-founders. It was Will's idea, and he and I kind of brainstormed what we wanted to do, and it was international from the beginning, and that's kind of been the beauty of this. We've never failed to have an international film not just submitted but also screened, and that's something that's just pretty incredible. You think about Cleveland County, North Carolina, having international films that we are showing to anybody who wants to take part.
Yeah, I spend a significant amount of time every year sending emails to every country that you can imagine, to every film school, to every producer, to every distributor that I can think of, making sure that the films that we get are from across the entire world.
Yep. And Thomas, you have a question. Go for it.
Yeah. So, this year has kind of introduced what the virtual components can do with film festivals, and it's kind of probably expanded your mind and your mindset to what sort of different approaches we can take. So can you see yourself even using the virtual components and online platforms even in the coming years when we are somewhat back to normal, when the pandemic has scaled down?
So I've had that very thought, and I'm a people person, like an in-person. I'm a hugger. I'm a people person, and so this has been especially hard on me. I think that Shara Miller, the president of the Arts Council, is the same way. We're similar personalities as far as that goes, and I absolutely love that people get to enjoy the festival who don't live close to us, can't make the trip, can't fit it into their regular schedule, or have moved away. I wouldn't want to replace our in-person festival, obviously, just because, all that work, the payoff to me is the in-person, something about a festival that is so special to me. And I'm not sure, gosh, get to the actual answer. I have thought about it a lot. I don't know that I've come to a conclusion about how I feel about it, because it's still a whole lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
And
It
so,
is.
and the in-person festival is a whole lot of work. And so I'm not sure that I could handle signing up for both, pots of whole lot of work.
Yeah, you really would almost need to have some strong volunteers that could help carry that load. And fortunately, you had that this year.
Yeah,
And
really, thank you.
That helped a lot. I mean, Thomas.
I couldn't have done it without you guys.
I mean, Thomas served as an intern, and he watched every single film, and there were over 150-ish films that were submitted. 40 plus films, 43 films did end up making it to the festival. And I think there were only just a couple that decided, because it was virtual, they did not want to participate too. And so that's pretty incredible when you think about that.
And then some of the Kids Festival films that would have played during Kids Fest in person, we just didn't feel would make the transition very well to a non-kid audience, non-kid exclusive audience. And so we've invited them to the festival next year. But yeah, 43 made the virtual cut, but it was a whole lot of just different work, but a whole lot of work. And, I guess if we did tandem sort of things in the future, it would be different than doing the exclusive virtual festival. And I could see doing some things, like maybe we could host just the award winners, or, some version of it. Yeah.
And the Q&As, Thomas, I mean, you spent a lot of time reaching out to filmmakers, and you interviewed, I think, 14 filmmakers. Is that right? Or more than that? I mean, it was quite a few that we ended up having the Q&As. And that's one of the things Violet and I both enjoy at the physical festivals, are having those Q&As. The filmmakers come, they get a chance to tell their story. And Thomas found a way to make that happen. And Thomas, talk a little bit about that, if you would, just sharing that journey for you and what that was like to interview some of these filmmakers.
Well, since the pandemic started, the whole world has kind of been introduced to Zoom, the video chat technology, which we're using right here. And it's really just kind of changed the way the entire world functions, whether it be education or work, or in this case, interviews with filmmakers. And so I just kind of looked at the contact information list and reached out to as many of them as possible, as many of those that we knew had their films accepted and or selected, I should say. And just was like, we'd love to take some time for a 15 or 20-minute Zoom chat and just chat about your film. So it was just a fantastic experience to speak to people from so many different backgrounds, so many different filmmaking backgrounds. I talked to people, basically my age, and then I talked to some people in their 60s. I talked to like John Gray, who was the creator of Ghost Whisperer on CBS. He's worked on films with Stephen Lang and Karen Allen. Then I also talked to people who are like student animators. So just a very, broad range of, of talent and experience levels. And it was just a really, really awesome experience. And it's kind of just opened up my personal love for interviewing and talking to filmmakers, because I've kind of expanded my approach and talked to filmmakers and taken those opportunities in other aspects, unconnected to reel, but it was reel that gave me the opportunity and kind of ignited that passion. So.
And Violet, we talk about the Q&As, and it's probably not going to happen that some of these international filmmakers get a chance to come and spend time with us. And Thomas interviewed somebody in Sweden, I think, or something.
Yeah. That was like the first interview I did was with Rafael Duarte, who directed Beyond Dreams, one of my favorite documentaries from the film festival. And so he's from Brazil and he resides in Sweden. And so that was a great interview. Like, there's no way I could have nailed him down for an in-person interview. And so it's pretty awesome what sometimes technology can be a bit of a struggle, but in this case, I'm glad we were able to make the puzzle pieces fit together.
Yeah,
and it's a component to the festival that is so key to the enjoyment and the interaction of the participants in the audience. And I would have hated not to have that, so I really appreciated you adding that for us. Thank you.
I'm glad I could help.
People can see those on our YouTube channel or on Seed and Spark.
Right, and the YouTube channel, you can find all of those, and then you can find trailers as well, and then at Seed and Spark you can check out.
And our website, they're linked next to all the films on the schedule on the website.
Yep. Well, we're going to take a quick intermission. We're going to come back, talk more about the Reel to Reel Film Festival with Violet Arth Dukes and Thomas Manning, and it's not Freddie Highmore, even though he has been confused for Freddie Highmore in California back in January before the pandemic. Maybe that's what started this whole thing. They just, it's a whole Freddie Highmore thing, Thomas.
It was just that was the linchpin, I guess.
That's funny. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Thanks for tuning in right here on Meet Me the Movie C19 TV, and if you're listening online, WG.org. I'm Noel T. Manning II, and we'll be right back.
They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me.
Who says there's no high school football this fall? Well, there is on C19 TV. That's right. Every weekend this fall, C19 TV will be airing classic Cleveland County local high school football games. Catch the gridiron action as Burns, Crest, Kings Mountain, and Shelby prove each week why Cleveland County year in and year out is the home of the best football in North Carolina. So don't miss classic Cleveland County high school football every Saturday and Sunday afternoon this fall, only on Spectrum Cable on C19 TV, a broadcast service of Cleveland Community College.
They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me.
And welcome back into Meet Me the Movies. Thomas Manning here alongside Noel Manning and Violet Dukes, the festival director of Reel to Reel Film Festival in Kings Mountain. And we're just really glad to have her today. And Violet, if you just want to take some time to share about what types of films audiences can take a look at with Reel to Reel. I know there's a pretty wide variety of them. So if you just want to dive in and give some background on what audiences can expect.
Absolutely. So we accept and are showing films. Well, we accept films in 4 categories. I think we're showing films in 3 of those this year. But documentaries, feature-length and short documentaries, narrative shorts, and animations. So we also, in the last couple of years, have been showing films submitted for and by children during Kids Fest. So we also accept films in the narrative feature category, but didn't select any this year. So you never know. We don't, in the committee, we don't make there's no set number of any kind of film that has to play. And I sort of pride, that's a point of pride for me as far as running that committee goes. We just try to show the best films that are submitted. That ends up being, an uneven mix some years of things, but it always works out. It really always works out to be an excellent selection of all of the different, subjects and genres and all of the things. So you'll see student animations and student and professional shorts, student professional documentaries, and it's just a great variety.
Yeah, it really is. And one of the things that I've always loved about it is the variety. You do have film festivals that focus just on short films or focus just on documentaries, or even just focus on kids' films or animation. And we've, from the beginning, we've kind of said, here's the categories, send it on. And we've had amazing work over the years, and we've had some amazing filmmakers come through here that we have seen back here from time to time, but we've also seen others that have gone on to do some pretty amazing things and talk about some of those.
Speaking of, so I got the backstory to this is I got an email literally last week, from a filmmaker who it just said basically all of my files from my computer were lost and I'm trying to rebuild my CV. I know I submitted a documentary to your festival in the last decade. That is literally all I had to go on. His name and that. And so I maintain archives on our website, on the Reel to Reel website, of all the films that played or made it into the festival as far back as I could go. And I just started with 2007 and I scanned for his name, and then I moved on to 2008 and I was scanning, going down the list, which you can do too if you feel like it. And I saw Chadwick Boseman's name and I was like, no, like it's 9 a.m. Maybe I need more coffee. Because I was running the festival back then too, but I just hadn't remembered. But in 2008, Chadwick Boseman submitted his first film and it played at Reel to Reel. It's called Blood Over a Broken Pond. And we still have it, which is cool. But yeah, so I also, the filmmaker who sent me the email that sparked all of that also played in 2000. Well, I said 2007 a minute ago. I meant 2008.
Yeah.
They both played in 2008. So I was able to, I didn't have to look any farther to come to that crazy revelation and to help the guy figure out when his documentary played.
Yeah, it really is pretty amazing that you never know what's going to happen with some of these filmmakers. We had Amy Adams as an actress early in one of the first few years. There was a film called The Hook Armed Man, and she went by Amanda Adams at that time. And we've had Bryce Dallas Howard show
we had
up.
A James Cameron film
That we turned down, right?
We had 2 submitted that year, and I don't think we didn't accept either of them. We're very picky.
That's a power move. It's really a power move. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I have to say, in defense of that decision, we had lots of discussions about them. They were fabulous, but they were also already in pretty wide release on television. So we just thought that it wasn't, one of our goals is to expose people in the area to things they wouldn't see otherwise. And since those were already pretty widely released, we just felt like they didn't need to be Reel to Reel.
And that's the kind of beauty of what we're able to do. We can always say, well, hey, we turned down James Cameron,
Twice.
Twice.
But thanks, James.
You can submit next year. That's fine.
Please.
Join us on the show also, James, if you're watching.
Yes. Something pre-release.
So Violet, what do you enjoy the most about this experience? And we'll talk about this year in particular because it was so different.
I like the whole thing. Like we start receiving submissions pretty much as soon as the festival ends each year. And, I like coordinating the committee. I like the back and forth with the filmmakers, but I mostly like the actual in-person festival. It's my favorite part. Like, talking with the filmmakers, watching the interaction between the audience and the filmmakers, watching the reaction of the audience to the films, and watching the filmmakers get to see that. Even though we're a small town, a lot of filmmakers really do come to the festival. And so there's just something about that, and for a lot of our filmmakers, it's the first time they're getting to see it on a big screen. And we have a big, beautiful screen in a beautiful theater. And I like getting to watch them watch the audience. And it's just that whole interaction, the discussion that happens in the lobby and the discussion that happens after the Q&A is ended. It's special.
Yeah, it really is. And that's something that Thomas, I think, really got a chance to experience in interviewing some of these filmmakers. And some of them were talking about that very thing, Thomas, that they enjoyed the Q&A at festivals, and they were kind of missing that. You want to elaborate a little bit on some of that?
Oh, well, yeah, I did kind of have a question for Violet. So will there be a method for like audience members to correspond with one another and discuss the film online?
Not yet, except for, so there were a couple little features that we didn't get quite worked out. We're a staff of 2 and then volunteers like the 2 of you and our selection committee. It's some of those things just didn't get to happen, even though we wish they could. I don't know. We have a whole month. Maybe we'll work that out.
Yes. So if anybody's out there and they want to host a watch party for a particular documentary, then do that, and then you can go back and forth. Just let folks know.
Record it, send it to me. I'll put it on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and it is pretty amazing. You've got this. You had this entire month that you could watch whatever you wanted to, as many times as you wanted.
That's right.
And there were some just marvelous films this year, as there always are. And Thomas, sitting there and going through the 150 films, it's some work, Thomas. I mean, you discovered that this was the first time you've been a part of something like that. Talk about that experience of being a kind of a judge and somebody behind the scenes, trying to watch all these and make your notes and and good notes, by the way. I will say that Violet loves your notes.
I did put some of them on the website and the Facebook page. And I sent them to the filmmakers.
Yeah, and I've actually seen a few of the filmmakers share my quotes too, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I made it then. But
that's awesome.
Anyway, but it is work, and the reality of the situation is that some of these movies just don't quite make the cut for a variety of reasons, but also I think you still need to respect the efforts and the passion that went into making each film, even if it's one that didn't quite land. Nobody goes in with the intention of making a bad film, and I think there's just as much energy put into each and every one out there, from that energy, the concentration, like the levels of that vary, but the passion and focus is still there. And I just think it's important to kind of keep that objective mindset with each film that you're watching, and just to kind of examine the intent and just the very human side of it. And so that was just a really rewarding experience for me. Even going through 150, only 43, like you said, made the cut. But I was still happy to kind of have my eyes opened to so much out there and so many filmmakers out there that even though if they had not quite made our festival, they're still out there doing work, putting in the hours just like everybody else. So just really, really awesome experience.
Yeah.
And
go ahead, Violet, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to just say that I've always been proud to tell filmmakers that when you submit to this festival, the committee members really do watch every film. They are watched, and I make sure I tell everyone they need to watch them in one sitting like they would watch them in a theater, and they need to watch all of it because the filmmakers have taken the time to make them and submit them, and we have to respect that. Absolutely.
And it is work, but as you said, even some of the films that don't make it, there are quite a few that are on that borderline, that it's honestly just a few percentages of points sometimes that will separate what's shown from what's not shown. And so, if we do end up doing a virtual component next year, maybe we could do some of that as well with some of those films that don't make the theatrical cut, maybe we can find a place for them. I don't know. We've still got a lot to talk about as it relates to that. Well, we are about to wrap things up. We are running short on time, but I want to give each of you a chance to give a pick. So if there's one film that you highly recommend that everyone should watch in this year's festival, what would that one film be? And I know it's hard to pick one, but if there's one that you said, okay, I'm glad I saw that, I highly recommend that one, what would it be?
I have to say all of them. I'm sorry.
Okay, Thomas, what about you?
All right. Well, so earlier I mentioned Beyond Dreams, directed by Rafael Duarte, but I'm going to cheat here a little bit and recommend one more, Finding Courage,
Yes.
another feature-length documentary, and just one of the most just moving and inspiring and uplifting, but also like convicting and really hard-hitting, heartbreaking docs that I've seen in a while. So the Finding Courage, once again, I would definitely recommend that.
And I'm going to recommend two right off the bat. Extra Innings, you mentioned John Gray from The Ghost Whisperer. Also, he did some work on the TV show Grimm. That short film, it was a short narrative film. It was amazing. And it was one of those that just kind of captivated you from the beginning. And it's short, but there was so much that was said within that particular documentary. And you'll definitely, narrative short. And you will recognize some faces from that one as well. And also there's animation called Lost in Place. Thomas, you got a chance to do the interview with the filmmaker for that as well. And that was just a magnificent animated short that I highly recommend folks to watch as well. It's a story about friendship in a different kind of way. So highly recommend that. But I'm with Violet. There's so many good ones. Watch them all. Go to the website, realtorrealfest.com, REALTOREEL fest.com. You'll see it on your screen. And you can get your tickets there and go directly to the platform from Seed and Spark. Yes, Violet, go for it.
Stay tuned for announcements about a celebrity appearance that we'll be doing coming up this month. Hopefully in, working around doing the announcements of the award winners. And don't forget that you can purchase passes and tickets the entire time and watch the films all the way through October 9th.
So thanks to everyone who has come to the festival when we had the live event, which we will have back. And
yes.
We do encourage you to go to the website, realtorrealfest.com. Get your tickets, embrace this festival. The films are there. Have parties at your house. Make sure they're socially distanced or that they follow the guidelines. Take your pictures and send them to us. And so until next time, we are just thankful for you spending time with us right here on Meet Me at the Movies. And I'm Noel T. Man II for Thomas and for Violet. And for this week, that is a wrap.